Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons, and we are glad that you guys are decided to join us here on another Tuesday night. Big shout out to those of you replay viewers on Periscope. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the people who are watching us all around Metro Atlanta and even the world as you check us out on Facebook and on YouTube and on Periscope as we are broadcasting live on all of those platforms all at one time. So we thank God for that, and we thank God for each and every one of you. As like I say again, you've decided to join us here on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon, a little hot and steamy here in Atlanta, but that's okay because that's what Atlanta weather is about. Georgia, it is it gets hot, and this is summertime, so we have to expect nothing more and nothing less. We have a big show for you tonight. Lots of great guests on. We have a young man that is a stalwart in his high school team, has a very powerful story on some challenges he had overcome to really make a big splash in Clayton County high school football. We also want to talk to a gentleman who played in the NFL for many years, and he himself also faced some challenges off the field as well with health concerns. I talked to Mr. Jamie Winborn, former linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers and the Tennessee Titans as well. So we look forward to having those guys early in our broadcast. And then later on, we're going to bring some basketball news in with our good buddy, DeShaun Tate from Tate Takes Hoops. So we got a big show lined up for you here in the first part of the broadcast. So we're just excited that you guys have decided to join us here and spend the Tuesday night here on the Real Talk Sports Show. Well, the first young man I'm going to bring on, as I mentioned to you, he has honed his craft, or is honing his craft here in Clayton County, right here where we reside, not too far away from WIGO 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio, and not too far from where I ply my trade at Allen Vigil Ford and Lincoln, and we're going to go ahead and give them a shout out as well. Speaking of shout out, before we bring our guest on, I'm going to give a big shout out to our producer, Mr. Eli Smith. He does a wonderful show on WIGO 1570 Monday through Friday, with the exception of Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. He does the Eli Smith Show. Great gospel music, old school, new school. He will bring it to you. So check him out on WIGO 1570 and on WIGOAM.com. Well, no further ado, we're going to bring in a young man who's going to tell you a little bit about himself, his high school football team from Mundy's Mill High School, Mr. Nick Hackett. Welcome to our show, sir. How are you?
Hi, how you doing, sir?
Well, fantastic. Good to see you guys.
Can you hear us okay?
Both could make it here. I can hear you great. Can you hear me?
Yes,
sir.
Okay, perfect. Well, gentlemen, again, great to have you here on the broadcast. Nick, I've been hearing a little bit about you from your dad and also saw a little clip. It does appear that you made a little TV appearance on Fox 5 Sports. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Well, tell us a little bit about your love for football, kind of what started that, and getting you kind of cranked up to play football as you do now in high school. What was your start?
Well, it started with like what? Speak on. It started with like I used to have a brother. I used to have an older brother, and he died from a car accident. But I found to myself that I will play for him. So I want to play football again. Well, when I was a freshman, my team respected me, like, because it made me a captain because I got a lot of effort in me, a lot of dedication, and I always care about my team. You know, and I know they care about me. And I'm a leader on that team. And before I went to Mundy's Mill, I also became a starter on my sophomore year. Yeah, and because I was very determined to work hard to be better for my team, to help my team to succeed. And plus, I have a lot of respect for my team, my coaches, and my teachers in the school because I always keep my grades up. I know how important with my grades are because it's good for my education. I mean, football is about life. Education means everything in life.
Well, you certainly hit that on the head. It's what your story is a very tremendous story, and the fact that you've had to deal with the challenge of dealing with autism, which is a difficult enough thing to deal with as it is. But we appreciate you. Listen, social media is buzzing right now. Let's go around first to Periscope. Good friend of our show, Cami 000, gives a big shout out to you guys, throwing lots of loves and hearts across the board. Nathan Lewis from Facebook is saying, "What's up?" And so we appreciate Nathan and appreciate him for tuning in to join us today. I'm going to get these banners up just on a little bit broader so you guys can see them, because it looks like down on the screen you're a little bit more difficult to see. So we're going to pop those up so you guys can see them as well. Again, you listen to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast live here from Atlanta's Incredible Radio, WIGO 1570. We also are multicasting tonight. We're on Facebook Live. We're on Periscope, which is Twitter TV. We're also on YouTube Live as well as WIGOIAM.com. So great stuff going on here as we broadcast, all these different channels. We also want to go back over to Periscope. Lots of people jumping in. What's up, everyone? An aspiring rapper from Alabama. Appreciate you so much. That's I think that's Joe Moran. We appreciate you. Also from Periscope. More folks joining in as well. So very exciting. You're creating a lot of buzz here across social media as expected, because it's a great story. Well, tell us a little bit about the Dragons and this group, this kind of select group of young men that you have over there at Mundy's Mill.
I bring this group together because because they're dedicated about what they do, and they want to be leaders. I mean, there's some teammates that I'm willing to step up, and I bring this group together who is willing to step up. And not only that, they had really good grades, and also.
If I could step in a little bit, the group of guys that he selected to be in this Dragon squad are all excellent ball players and excellent students in the class. Have a lot of leadership qualities, and he wanted to bring a group of guys together that can help lead and show leadership for this team, for this school, not only on the football field, but in the classroom, in the halls. And I think he picked a group of guys that represents that very well. We came up with the acronym for Dragon, determined, relentless, aggressive, goal-oriented, optimistic, and never quit. That's what Dragons mean. And the Dragon squad is we have Cameron Barnes, Jeremiah Fan. We also have Devin Middleton, Roy Howard, DeJuan Springer, and Jared. What's his name? Sean Jarrett. And they go from I think it's 4 seniors, 2 juniors, and 2 sophomores. So this is not just for this year. This is following on, and we hope to get more young athletes to join in with this Dragon squad. And it's all about teaching young guys how to be leaders. I'm heavily involved with it. We work out together from time to time, after school, before school, and like I said, they're just a great group of kids, and they work hard, and they looking for big things this year as a group, as a team, and as leaders for Mundy's Mill.
Well, you guys are doing a great job here, and we want to bring in some other guests who are also doing some great job as well. Now, this first thing I'm going to bring up, I think you might know her, Nick. I'm going to bring out this Iris Fambro Carter. She does a wonderful page on Facebook called The Ultimate Dog Nation. Let's bring Iris up. Hopefully she can see us and hear us. Iris, are you there?
Hey, guys. Hi. Hey, I'm here. Hey, Felix. Hey, Nick.
Sound like a little family connection here, I think.
How you doing?
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, I said it sounds like a family thing going on here.
Oh, there. That's a family thing. Nick is my nephew. So.
Well, there you go. Well,
Very
Iris,
proud
again,
of Nick.
you should be doing some great work there. And we also want to bring another
Yes.
gentleman up. Since Nick, you play defense, I thought it was appropriate. I'm going to do an interview with him later, but I wanted to bring this young man up. He played in the NFL, played for such teams like San Francisco 49ers, played with the Tennessee Titans back when they had guys like Vince Young and Lendell White. Bring him up here. Jamie Winborn. I think Jamie's in the building. Jamie, let's get you on. You there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here, man. How y'all doing?
Doing great. Well, listen, man, this young man, I heard, sure you heard a little bit about his story, overcoming autism and so forth. And he himself plays on defense. So I thought, who better than a linebacker? And encourage this young man and, let him know that, all things really are possible to them that believe.
Oh, yeah, definitely. My hat goes out to you, bro. For real. I mean, I was just sitting there listening to it, and I like that dragon thing, too. I like that. That's dope. That's tight. Everything's possible out there. One thing about it, it's all about hard work and staying dedicated to it and having fun when you're doing it. That's the main thing. That's what I've always focused. So, I'm happy with what I'm hearing, and much luck to you in the future for sure.
Well, yeah, man, it's always great when guys like yourself come and able to encourage. I know that a lot of you guys that play in the league, you'll get involved with camps and so forth, man. And I know some things you're doing, and we're going to talk to you about that a little bit later. So appreciate you, man, jumping in early in the broadcast to encourage young Nick. Like I said, I know how it is with defense, man. The defenders, y'all kind of operate in a different mindset when you come out and hit that field.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a brotherhood, and we like to ride together, and you know what I mean. There's no better position to play on the field, but than being with your brothers, 10 more brothers out there. That's defense, and that's what you want to do. I mean, I love it. I've always loved it. That's the only thing I miss.
I tell you, man, it's exciting to have you all on here, and I know, Iris, you got to be excited to be here and see your nephew doing what he's doing, and to have someone from the league to talk about it as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Excited for Nick. I've been pushing Nick for a moment because I know what he's capable of, and I mean, of course, you see his father. He's definitely dedicated, and Felix knows too exactly. Nick is a very special young man to overcome. Actually, to be diagnosed as autistic, it's a rare combination. But what it shows is that despite anything that you're dealing with in life, you can overcome it. And so I see Nick playing in the NFL one day. I'm just being honest. So.
Well, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, everybody, again, you're watching and listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you live on all types of channels. We're on WIGO AM 1570 on your dial here in local Clayton County. You also can check them out on the web anywhere in the world at WIGOAM.com. Cool thing is you also can go to my website, realtalksports.net, click on the Watch Live button, and it'll take you right to our Facebook live broadcast right here and right now, or listen live, and you can hear us as well. Big shout out to the people on Periscope, those of you who are watching us live, and all those of you who are checking us out in the replay. I see all you people do it like that. And also YouTube Live, to those of you watching us on that, and also those who are watching after the fact. So we appreciate everybody and everything that you do. So, Nick, let me get back to you really quickly here. So, Clayton County has really been kind of a hotbed for years as far as high school football. A lot of you guys have had to move up in terms of your classes, going from class 4 to class 5 or even 6. How excited are you if you guys play this year? And I'm going to ask you and your dad, how comfortable do you guys feel about the idea of playing this year and dealing with, the coronavirus that's kind of lurking out there in all our lives? I don't think I heard that question. I'll rephrase it.
I was very confident about about big things.
Well, we're looking forward to trying to get the season in. He's very excited. He's working very hard. He's training today. I tell the boy to take a break because he's gonna run himself into the ground. But he said, "Dad, I gotta get ready for the season. We're gonna have this season." And he said, "I gotta have this year." He goes and trains Smith Chuck Smith has done wonders to help his game out, and he's raised his game up another level, and he's anxious to get on the field and show what he's able to do now. And his coaches at school, Coach Davis, and let me say one thing about Coach Davis. When we first took him to Mundy's Mill, and I asked him, I told him about Nick and his autism, and I said, all I want to do is you to give him a fair shake, give him a fair opportunity to compete. And he's told, and to his credit, he said, if he can, and they gave him a fair shot, and he ended up winning the starting job as a sophomore on Mundy's Mill. And I just like to say that I appreciate a coach that stands by his word about giving a kid opportunity to show what he can do and not just label him for what he think he is. So I would just like to give Coach Davis a shout out and let him know that we appreciate the opportunity to play, and I appreciate him working with him. He's working with him with us some outside linebacker this year, but he's primarily a defensive end. But he was like, well, in college he might want to switch him, put him as some outside linebacker. So you want to get him some basics at that. Coach has done an amazing job with him, Coach O. And we're just looking forward to this year with his teammates. He just want to get on the field and play, and that's his whole. He wants to go out there and show what he can do. Hopefully, get a chance to play some college ball.
Well, guys, listen. We appreciate you coming on, and we look forward to covering Mundy's Mill. If you guys play this year, we do high school football coverage for WIGO, and so we're very excited about bringing actually the team and some of the Dragons back on later on this year, so you guys can talk to us a little bit kind of what your sensibility is for this season. Is there a way people can follow you on social media, or do you have a website, Nick, where people can kind of keep up with you at Mundy's Mill?
I know they all got Instagram.
That's it.
They all got that.
You guys got an Instagram we can follow?
Well, his Twitter is at Nicholas Hackett, NIKHOLASHACKETT, and his Instagram is.
Give us that Instagram one more time.
Yeah, please. The Instagram is Unstoppable Nick.
Unstoppable Nick.
That's what's up right there.
I like that.
That's what's up. Listen, guys, we appreciate you stopping by and joining us here tonight, and we look forward to having the Mundy's Mill Tigers. You guys are the Tigers, right? Do I have that right? The Tigers?
Unstoppable Nick on Instagram.
Gotcha. Well, like I said, we look forward to bringing you guys back on with the rest of the team from Mundy's Mill as we cover some high school football here in Clayton County. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. God bless, and have a great rest of the evening.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well,
hey,
great story.
Nick.
I mean, that's a great story there. We look forward to having them back on with us at some point in time as the season goes forward. And Iris, we appreciate you for because the word was that we were recommended by Iris. I said, well, that's a good recommendation you have right there, young man. So anytime
I do what I need to do here.
Well, listen, we definitely appreciate that and appreciate what you have done, even for our broadcast. We want to go back to social media again. It is buzzing out here. Let's see what's going on here on Periscope. We have a guy that also says he's got a great story. And then someone asked here, let's see who this is. Bang, the question is, how can they join on the show? I put the link up for those people who want to try to join in and call in. I know some people want to get into the show. We can't take your phone call, but if in fact you go to that link, you will be able to actually get into the studio. We'll bring you on. Let me just do a little housekeeping here and explain to people. Any type of things that will break FCC regulations, i.e. any cussing, any slurs of any type, we will immediately put you off the program. So I'm just giving you FYI. We got to kind of keep it, 100. We're not trying to get kind of, odd things going on here. And again, I'll pop it up on the screen. And it's also in the comments on all social media. There is the link to join the broadcast, come on in and we will bring you into the broadcast again. Conduct yourself like ladies and gentlemen, and you will have a good old time here in the lockdown living room. Well, listen, Jamie, tell us a little bit about kind of what drove you to get into the world of football. Tell us a little about your college career, and then, of course, how you ended up with the 49ers and later on Titans.
Well, my mother put me in the sports at a young age. I think I was probably 4 or 5 at the YMCA, and she basically put me in it because I was an active kid and running around and couldn't stay still. But she put me in YMCA, and I didn't know if I was gonna like it or not. But I ended up loving it and excelling at it. And before I knew it, I was like some neighborhood star or something like that. I broke all of the records and all of this good stuff or whatever. But it was good for me because it kept me out of trouble. Just kept me busy and kept my mind into something and gave me something to work at. And, that's what's important. And, especially when you're young, you want to have something that you can be into and stay out of trouble. And then I ended up going, move on to my high school years. I had a lot of good people around me, my coaches, everybody, they just emphasized me, trying to be the best I could be out there on the field. Classroom wise, I was always pretty good in the classroom. I just wanted to excel at that as well. And then, I was lucky enough to earn a scholarship, have a couple offers, and I chose Vanderbilt because it was the best education, on the table at that time. I knew I could get hurt at any time. So I need to be somewhere where I know I can have a great education, or the best that was offered to me at the time. So Vanderbilt was it, Nashville, Tennessee. I didn't know anything about that. Went there, and it's a wonderful school, and I want to say at that time we had about 9,000 students and about 240 something blacks at the school, and about 50 of them on the football teams.
That seems like a true story.
Yeah, but I mean, I loved it because it gave me opportunity to see something that I wasn't seeing at my hometown and stuff in Wetumpka, Alabama. I got to be around people that were from different countries, you know what I mean, and all these different types of races I didn't even know existed. And I think that's what helped me become the person that I am today, being around those people and being in the same classrooms, having the same challenges, and being able to step forward and exert myself in the classroom. I knew I had to represent because, I mean, a lot of times when I'm in class, it's only like 2 or 3 black people in the entire class. So kind of got to represent. And I liked it because it put pressure on me to always be in the forefront and be a leader instead of a follower, and know that people are watching you all the time. And I think that pushed me, and I ended up doing pretty well. I redshirted my first year. My second year, everything just exploded. I led the SEC in tackles. My freshman and sophomore year, it was all American, all of this stuff. So going into my junior year, I was ranked number 1 in the country, and had a decent season that year too, and it ended up entering the draft early as a junior, and but I didn't finish school at that particular point in time. But I did get to go back after my second year in the pros. But when I entered the draft, I just stayed there and trained and all of that, man, and ended up going second round to the 49ers. I can't get my TV right, my camera right here, because I thought it was going to be on the computer, but I did the camera instead. But ended up going to the 49ers, and that was great, man. That was awesome. It was a dream come true. I'm the first person from my high school and the only person to this day to go pro from my high school. And to my recollection, actually to get a scholarship and actually attend Vanderbilt as well. So, a lot was riding on me, and still to this day, I mean, we just try to do the best we can do, and I ended up having a pretty good career out there with the 49ers, and then went on to Tampa. I mean, I went to Jacksonville, was traded to Jacksonville, then went to Tampa, then to Denver for 2 years, and then to Tennessee Titans for 2 years. So I actually ended up being able to start my career in the city of Nashville and end up coming back and playing for the professional team there in Nashville. So that was pretty cool to me.
Yeah, that must have been a wonderful thing, man. I mean, and the other thing is you hit on a couple of key points, and I think I saw Iris nodding her head in the background as well. the idea of the importance of education.
Yes.
What would you tell parents in terms of, because it seems like, and maybe, it's funny, you never kind of understand your age until you get there. So I don't want to sound like the angry old guy in the barbershop that I used to hear when I was a little kid. But at the end of the day, it seemed like there's been a disconnect. It seemed like there was more a parental push towards, hey, the scholarship is really designed to get you an education. We want you to play ball, but the whole thing is the scholarship is designed to do that. And it seems like it's gotten away from that in recent times.
Well, part of that is because it's just become such a big business. It's big business now. Universities are making tons and tons of millions of dollars off of athletes out there. But I tell my words of advice to anybody and the parents of these players is to keep it 100 with yourself and everybody. You can dream of making it to the NFL, and it is definitely doable. It is doable by far. But you have to have your priorities in order when it comes to that. Because see, it's just put it like this. There's probably not 100,000 people in the entire world that have ever walked on an NFL field. And how many people are there? 60 million? We got, and just here, 50, 60 million. You know what I mean? And so that tells you how small of a percentage it is for people to, and that's all the players ever in the history of the league. So the chances of making it are very slim. But is it doable? Of course, because athletes are so good these days. But you can't forget the design of what it's for initially, which is to get a great education. Because I like to tell kids this, and when I go and I speak and I tell people, they love for me to speak because I keep it 100 with them. I keep it real. I don't have time to BS you because the world won't BS you. And that's not cuss words. I hope don't kick me off. But what I'm but what I'm saying is that every neighborhood I've ever lived in, I've never lived by a pro athlete. So what I'm saying is they're living just as good as me and most of the time better, and they never played any sport. So what that says is, in my mind says, well, I would have loved to have just used my brain to make the money the same way. People keep forgetting. A lot of times you go to a school and you ask them, well, what kind of occupation do you want to have? I mean, what do you want to do? And they only have a couple things that they can name.
Right.
And I would say, well, and the counselors always get mad at me, and I say, well, counselors, when I ask what do they want to do, and they only have a couple things that they can say, that's because you need to get on your job a lot more.
Right.
You need to have them. Well, you need to have them with list of jobs so that they know that what they could do. My daughter now, she's 15 years old. Well, I didn't know that some dermatologists are making almost $1 million a year. I didn't know that.
That's news to me too.
But her mom has a friend that's a dermatologist that told her that.
There you go.
So, so my thing is there's a lot of ways to do it, and education is important because that's what your backbone is. Even if you have a pro career, you're still it's gonna evolve back around to you need to know something about something.
Right.
You're gonna have to have education is still gonna be very, very, very important. You can live a great life if playing college football, if that doesn't work out, or playing college sports, it doesn't work out, that's fine. That doesn't mean that you can't drive the Mercedes. That don't mean you can't have the iced out tank. That doesn't mean that you can't travel. It doesn't mean any of that. And that's what the bottom line is it's based off, a scholarship is for you to get an education, have the opportunity to get an education, get that, and then move on with your life in whichever direction it goes, whether that's pro or whether that's something else. And for the kids out there that don't think that education is important, well, nobody's ever going to get to see your talent if you're not doing your work in the classroom.
That's the truth right there, man. That's the truth right there. Well, listen, this is what we're going to do here. We're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to come back because we got to talk a little football. I'd like to get your opinion.
Let's do it.
Jamie, kind of looking at the Falcons, the pass rush. Irish, you can jump in as well. We're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show, guys. We're going to take a quick break.
Let's do it.
And we'll be back in just a moment. Hang tight. Don't go nowhere.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
Where's my towel?
That's right, boys. You never know who might stop in the lockdown living room.
On the ears.
You never know who you might have popping in here. As you can see, we had a little Tim Tebow. We had JB Smooth. We had OJ Howard from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you never know who we might pop in an interview. And as time goes on, guys, we're going to be bringing you, we're going to start our archive section on the show where you guys will be able to get a chance to look at some of our previous archive interviews. We have interviewed some of the greats in sports history. We have interviews with Nick Saban. We have interviews with the legendary coach Bobby Bowden, interviews with Tim Tebow, all types of great people, even LT. I know it's a guy that Jamie gets a little excited about that. LT, one of the great linebackers in NFL history. So we're going to have those interviews up as well. Let's go back quickly to social media. Pop up here. We've got some comments that are popping all over the place on social media. So let's see what we have here. Actually, we can see the question is, all right. It looks like at some point Mr. Carter might be joining us, hopefully, at some point in the show. But speaking of great things here, we're going to do this. We're going to open up because we have another guest that's going to come on. We're going to bring her on, but we would definitely want to ask Jamie the question about the look at the Falcons. This young lady here who's going to be doing her segment coming up next, she is co-founder of a group called HBCU Heroes. And ladies and gentlemen, all the stuff going on here in America and Black America especially, you already know that this young lady is going to be bringing you some inside information about what's happening. And big things are going on with HBCUs. Tracey Pennywell is in the building. Tracey, welcome back.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How's everybody doing?
Hey, lady.
Good. Hey, Tracey.
Hey, lady.
Nice to see y'all.
Good to be seen. Well, Tracey, we're going to hold you off for just a second because I asked Jamie, you are a linebacker. Coming, kind of being around here in Atlanta, the bane of our existence has been the pass rush. Now, they recently made some moves in the offseason. They're bringing in, they've gotten rid of Vic Beasley. They're bringing in Dante Fowler, a guy who a lot of people thought initially when he was able to be drafted number 3, a lot of people thought that the Falcons should have tried to move up and get him then. But nevertheless, he is now a Falcon. Numerically, in their 5 years, both guys' numbers are about the same in terms of number of sacks. Beasley got about 29 because he had that monster year in the Super Bowl season, and Dante 27.5. But do you think that what we saw last year from Dante was a fluke, or do you think, hey, this is finally him coming to his own off that edge?
Oh no, he's a beast. He's a beast. I mean, he knows how to rush the passer. He's got a great motor and plays a run very, very, very well. And he comes from a winning environment. That's a big deal when you're dealing with players and talking about who you want to get and who you don't want to get. The guy comes from a winning program. He knows how to win. He knows what's expected, and he's going to do it. That was a great, great pickup. I like Beasley too, but Fowler, if I had to choose, that's who I'd go with.
So you're looking for an improvement now. Now I think the magic number for the Falcons. A lot of people are talking about how many sacks they should get. I'm thinking the magic number, if they want to be an impact team, they're really going to need to get up around 40 sacks, I think, to be able to really make a dent because, you got it's quarterback really in the NFC South. You got Drew Brees. You now have TB12. We already know what he's about. The GOAT, he's there. And certainly we're going to see some good play. Really out of Carolina, I think Teddy Bridgewater showed that he's still got some game left. So is 40 the right number? Am I shooting too low, too high? What do you think?
Well, 40 ain't all that much. It is. I mean, you just say both of your D tackles get 7. That's 14. Right. Yep. You got 10 on the other end. That's 34. That's 24 and 10 over here. That you should get 10 and 10. I mean, we paying you that kind of. I feel like they should get 10. I think Fowler's going to get about 14 to 16.
Whoa.
Yeah, because he got the push in the middle. He got the push in the middle. That's the way defense works. When you got 2 beasts in the inside, 2 defensive tackles that know what they're doing, they get a good push in there. That opens it up for the guys on the outside. And that's how it is.
And look at the Falcons loaded up in the middle already. They obviously have a beast already in Grady Jarrett, number 97.
I love Grady.
The most underrated players in the NFL right now. The other thing too is obviously they got big Marlon Davidson. He looks like he's got. See, the one thing the Falcons have lacked, I know you already know being a defensive player, the Falcons have always seemed to lack that guy that got that dog in him. It looks like they might have that with Davidson and hopefully also with Fowler coming off the edge as well. So, man, I think it's going to be a big season for them. And I think they're going to do some big things. All right, we'll flip the coin. Go ahead. Pop in.
No, I was gonna say that one thing I like about Fowler as well is you're gonna see the energy on defense a lot. The defense is gonna have a whole lot more energy out there playing. When he messes with the linebackers that they have, and I know how they're playing out there. I mean, Dan Quinn's my guy. I've been knowing Dan since I was drafted. He was assistant coach then. The linebacker coach played beside me, Jeff Albrecht. So I know what he's teaching the guys and what they're doing, and those linebackers, they fly around, and the defense got so much more speed now, and they're gonna have some energized players, man. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna do out there. I just don't know how it's gonna go without fans. I didn't mean to bring that up, but I just don't know how that's gonna roll. But I know they're gonna play well. They're gonna do their thing, but without those fans, I just don't know how that's gonna work. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if the league's going to be able to play at all or not. Well, listen, man, it's been phenomenal, Jamie. You coming in to join us. Like I say again, I know you have a great story yourself in terms of some things you've had to deal with off the field, health issues and so forth. Just before you leave, tell people how maybe the world of sports, your training, your discipline, helped through some of the challenges that you had to go through off the field.
Off the field, I'll go all the way back to my third year where I injured my neck, and they told me that I shouldn't play again and probably wouldn't play again or what have you. And I felt like God said something else to me, so I went back out there and ended up playing 7 more years after that. I won the Ed Block Courage Award the next year and led them in tackles, all of that. So I mean, to this day, I got a metal plate with 4 screws in my neck. So I played 10 years like that. And then as soon as I finished that, and actually I didn't know it, but part of my last year, I'd already had cancer and didn't know it. I was in so much pain and stuff and wasn't telling anybody and all of that stuff because I was trying to play. But I ended up having rectal cancer and ended up having to have the colostomy bag. I did the chemo, I did the radiation, all of that. And, it's just been a life-changing thing for me. Another battle, God always has another battle for you lined up right around the corner. So I just took it with a positive attitude and, continued to smile and continued to, work on being a good person and knowing that nothing could hold me down. And I just kept going. And that's what I do now. I mentor people that are dealing with cancer. A lot of my brothers and sisters out there with cancer. It's a rough thing to deal with. So I work with that, talk to a lot of kids, try to do some speaking engagement, stuff like that, and raise my kids and just try to be the best person I can be. And that's what I do.
Well, man, I tell you, I can tell you firsthand, a lot of people know my story. I didn't have to deal with cancer, but unfortunately, I did have to have an operation where, in fact, the same thing, I had to have a colostomy bag put on, lost about 45 pounds in about 5 weeks. And then I had to go back in. They had to put me back together again. So that was another back in there again. And then, by that time I was kind of thin anyway. And in both cases, I found myself a very ultra lean, 185 pounds, which, when you get that thin, as you know, when you go through this, now people are trying to help you, but the look in their eyes are like, hey, man, you all right? I mean,
what's wrong with you?
that fear being eyes like,
oh my God.
No, listen, I'm just being real because what happens is you don't realize because, the one of the things the doctors tell you, Jamie, they tell you, hey, you get back to your normal routine, get back out in the public and do what you do. But what you don't realize is that your clothes don't fit you right. And I'm going out and I'm thinking, it's on and popping. Man, I look at some of them films and think, man, I got a pencil neck, the collar way. And people do look, and they try so hard not to do it, but they have that look because you look so frail. And they're just concerned. So again, I'm a kindred spirit, went through that, but the God is good. Now I try to lose some weight again. I put most of it back on. Well, listen, how can people follow you, Jamie, on social media, a website, or people want to have you as a motivational speaker at their event?
I do a lot of it through Instagram, which is my name, Jamie Winborn, at Jamie Winborn, no spaces in that. Also on Facebook, it's just Jamie Winborn. I try to keep it simple. You know, that's how I do it. I mean, you can message me on there or DM me on Instagram. Both of my pages are open. I think the Facebook, I gotta go back through it. I think I might be at the max or whatever, but I can still, I think, receive messages or whatever. But yeah, you can find me there, and you know, just a guy trying to be the best he can be out here in this world.
Well, listen, man, that's good stuff, man. We appreciate you joining us. We look forward to having you back on again. A very powerful story. 10-year career in the league, then having to deal with cancer after that, and now, you know, bringing that story forward to encourage other people, man. That's huge, huge, huge. And a Vanderbilt guy, the SEC, ripping it up.
That's right. That's right.
Not too many Commodores do it like that, my friends.
Well, hey,
you know.
Hey, well, Mama had a special one when she had me.
There you go.
That's for you, Mama, if you're watching. You
see? That's the man who knows. My mom was alive. I always had to give Mama a shout out, man. Because listen, that's that old song. There's nobody like my mama, and that's it.
Yeah.
There you go. Jamie, listen, man. Again, we appreciate you so much, man. God bless, and we look forward to having you join us again. Again, everybody, at Jamie Winborn, check him out on Instagram. Follow him. Great motivational speaker, doing some great things off the field. To follow up the great things you did on the field. Jamie, thank you so much, and God bless.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Hey, you guys too. Appreciate it, man. Y'all be safe out there. Put your masks on.
Yes. Mask up.
All right.
Hey, so Jamie, I sent you a Facebook friend request, but it's maxed out. So
okay,
you need to delete somebody. Okay.
I got you. I'll do that ASAP.
And there's a little housekeeping. Hey, you got to come off of there. Somebody has to go.
I know. I'm sorry.
Jamie, thank you so much, man. God bless.
All right. Thank you, man.
Bye, Jamie.
We're running a little bit behind schedule, guys. That's okay. We're going to pop in a couple of other guests that we have there. I think we have the co-founder of HBCU Heroes floating out there. I think we have the audio for him. George, we're going to pop in. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
George is here. Okay, so we're going to let you guys talk to us a little bit, and then we have, for you guys that are football fans, we got good news in the background, waiting backstage in the green room. We have two stars that Georgia people are very familiar with, both offensive beasts when they played. We can't tell you. You got to stay right here and keep it locked. Keep it locked right here, boys and girls. But now we shift back to HBCU Heroes, Tracey Pennywell and George Lynch. You guys got some big stuff coming up. Tell us what's happening.
And George, we can't see you, my friend. I think you are on. Your camera's blocked.
I'm not in a good place to show my background.
Oh,
I'm not in the club, but I'm not.
We won't ask. We won't ask.
TMI there, George. You can keep that to yourself.
What are you doing, Jonathan, in the bathroom? In the bathroom.
TMI.
TMI. You know, he just said he's not able to come on screen.
That's all.
We'll leave it at that.
Well, thank you for having us on. And when you made the offer for me to come and do a segment every now and again with your show, I said, well, my first interview has to be my partner in crime, George Lynch, because George, who else to talk to but sports when it's your first time out on the job. So George and I are going to talk about Morehouse, Bethune-Cookman, and then we'll talk about what we're doing in the HBCU world coming up this weekend with John Lewis. But George actually did a panel today that I thought he had some interesting comments on. So George, I wanted to ask you about the Morehouse decision to cancel for the rest of the year for football, and to see as a coach for an HBCU, how do you feel about that? Do you think that sports are going to come back to HBCUs, or is that the first of many that will probably be canceling for the year?
You know, I think the fall sports is going to be a challenge, you know, with the pandemic going on and you know, trying to find a cure to make sure our students are healthy and safe, first of all. You know, at HBCUs, you know, they don't have the drive of money dictating, you know, their sports. You know, so we have to take in consideration and all conferences should be taking into consideration the health and well-being of their student athletes. And I think, Morehouse, stepped up to the plate and said, you know what, our students are more important than the sports. And I think that was the right call.
So then let me ask you this about basketball and the leagues, the other leagues, the professional leagues, when a lot of them now are coming out saying that they've tested positive for COVID. What do you feel personally about that? Do you think that that the league should cancel, or do you think they should keep going and just kind of fix the problem as it arises?
Well, I think if they can keep the guys in a self-quarantine environment in Orlando, and be able to have the guys tested before they come into the buildings. You have a few coaches that's a little bit older, has been around the game for a while. You don't want to jeopardize them and their families. So if you can test the players coming in and be able to keep, the players and the staff in an enclosed environment, there's not going to be any fans in the stands. The league is, the NBA has the means and resources to be able to have security and keep, guys tested and in a safe environment. I think it'll be. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm going to put you on the spot now, since you were in the NBA, and I'm sure you had a night or two that you may have been out hanging, even though you weren't supposed to, because it was before a game or you guys were on the road. Do you think, I'm putting you on the spot, do you think that your fellow brethren, that they will do what they're supposed to do, that they will stay in this bubble, and they won't try to get out? They're going to be away from their families now. Let's just be real. Do you think long term, if this lasts 4 months or however long it's going to last, that is something that guys will be able to do and to maintain this bubble-like atmosphere?
I believe they will. The teams that selected are teams that has been committed to winning and making a push for the playoffs the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have an atmosphere of guys who want to remain their focus on the prize. And so I think those guys will stay focused. And then you guys have an option. If they don't want to, risk it and be there, those guys would opt out. You had several guys opt out because of family issues, newborn children, and so they've already opted out. So I think the guys who show up to Orlando know what the commitment is and has worked all those things out with their families.
Okay, so last question on that subject. Would you, if you were the 25-year-old George Lynch who went for the Lakers, would you, and this came up, this pandemic, it was global, would you go in the bubble or would you opt out?
I think I would go in the bubble.
Really?
Yeah, at 25, I hadn't had any kids yet, so I was a little bit more focused and driven
mm-hmm.
to win some basketball games and make a run in the playoffs. I would have went into the bubble for the sake of the team.
Wow. I'm surprised to hear you say that. You guys, George is very conservative. And so I'm surprised. I would have thought he'd be like, well, safety first.
No, but I think they will have all the precautions in place as far as testing and making sure, the guys have what they need. I'm sure they're going to have some of the best chefs in Orlando in one spot. So food and I'm sure they're going to have nice accommodations at the hotels and things like that. So
and probably rapid testing, unlike the public gets. I'm sure they get their test right away and the results.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, George, we're going to switch into the Bethune-Cookman story and them switching into a different conference. Tell me what that means to you, in your opinion, as far as the outlook of the switching of the conferences and how it's now going to work for Bethune-Cookman, and if you think others will follow.
Well, I don't have all the details because I wasn't at the table.
Mm-hmm.
But with teams switching conference, it's usually a better situation, a better fit.
Mm-hmm.
Me being a coach in the HBCU SEAC conference, some of the travel arrangements are tough. We were taking 16-hour bus rides from Atlanta to Ohio, and we were wondering why this team even in our conference, to make this trip. So I'm sure the athletic director and the president at Bethune hopefully made the right decision because of travel, making sure that the student athletes were students first.
Mm-hmm.
They did it so that it works better with class schedule. And then also, opportunity for the university athletic department. It was probably better, competition-wise, opportunity as far as the NCAA appearances and recruiting for Bethune to move conferences.
Gotcha. I get that. I mean, I remember you calling me on those long bus rides, and I'm like, you still on the bus? Like, I've already done a whole marketing plan. We got the calls for tomorrow, and he's still on the bus. So I get it. Okay. So last thing, because George and I are co-founders of HBCU Heroes, and we actually raise funding for HBCU athletic departments. I wanted you, George, to share with the good people out here what we're doing this weekend with our John Lewis Good Trouble HBCU takeover. And before George shares that, we're doing an HBCU takeover for the movie. The movie comes out on Friday, and we say we're getting our John Lewis on. We're encouraging people to vote, especially the HBCU demographics. We are having a streamathon on Sunday, but we're also doing an HBCU esports tournament. So George, I think we have just a minute left, right, Jonathan? If you can kind of give us the brief summary of the esports tournament and why it's important that HBCUers get involved in esports.
And actually, bring out one of our other guests who's kind of been hanging out real discreetly here into our green room here. This gentleman, anybody that follows SEC football and the University of Georgia knows this man. He is one of the original dual threat quarterbacks here, played for the University of Georgia, played for the guys that have that big star in their helmet. Quincy Carter, quarterback par excellence, is in the building. Quincy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Iris. What's up, buddy? Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, kind sir.
Okay, cool, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. So we wanted to kind of get you in the mix now. We have another guest. He had to hop off. Hopefully he'll come back on. Falcons fans, I had promised Falcons legend William Andrews. He had been kind of in the green room. He had to pop out. So hopefully he can join us later on. But I wanted at least to bring Quincy on so he could kind of hear George's remarks. And he might want to comment himself in terms of.
And Quincy might want to join us. You never know.
There you go.
You might want to join us. Quincy, I'm Tracey Pennywell. My business partner, George Lynch, who you probably can't see there. George Lynch played in the NBA, but he's now an HBCU in the HBCU coaching community. And we are doing a John Lewis Good Trouble streamathon this Sunday. And we were just telling everyone about how we are encouraging voter participation and getting HBCUers to the polls this season because they're the demographic that slipped the most in the past election. And George and I are so happy and so proud because we've been talking about this for a minute. We're bringing an HBCU esports tournament to the streamathon. So we have 6 schools going head to head playing NBA 2K against each other. So I want George, before this is our kind of closing comment, and Quincy, we would love to see if you might want to at least lend your voice to this streamathon on Sunday. But George is
Quincy might be a gamer.
Yo, Quincy, are you? Are you a gamer, Quincy?
I am.
Quincy,
what's up, George? Hey, what's up, George? What's up, George? I actually followed your career from afar, man. So much respect, man, and much love to you, buddy.
Man. Hey, I followed you when you was with the Cowboys. I lived in Dallas for about 20 years, man. I'm
that's right.
In North Carolina now, yeah.
Yeah, but man, it's good to be speaking with you, though, buddy.
You too, man.
Oh, and Quincy, George says he's in a compromised position. I don't know what's going on with him. He cannot turn he may be in the bathroom. We don't know what's going on. But next time you can see him, because you can't see him today. That's all he said.
I promise you I'm not in the club.
Hey, George, you might have to change business partners, man. She put this business out in the street. You might have to change business partners, sir, because she giving way too much information.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I've known George for 25, 30 years, and I've never seen him say, I just cannot be seen. So I don't know. I just don't know.
Wow.
But I'm glad that, Quincy, that you guys know each other, and now we can talk to you probably offline at some point and see if you can. If you're a gamer, we got to talk. So George, tell everybody real quick, because this is the reason that we're doing this. You tell everybody how we started and why esports is really important to the HBCU community.
So we started it, because we wanted to level the playing field for HBCUs. I went to Carolina. I worked at SMU, worked at UC Irvine, where resources, wasn't a challenge. And, not, being at an HBCU, the support, the corporate dollars, the revenue streams are not always there. And it's been a challenge. So Tracey and I, both, did not attend a HBCU, but we, go on to North Carolina. Go ahead.
I said, like Quincy, he didn't either. Go ahead.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So we know what sports meant to those PWIs, and we just wanted to level the playing field. And a big game changer is esports. Esports is a $1 billion industry that is not just based on talent. Yes, I mean the kids who play these games are talented, so I won't say it's not that, but the athleticism is not a key. If you can gamer, if you're a gamer, you're a gamer. And we think that this will level the playing field, will be a revenue generating for HBCUs and the athletic, or the entire school. And also some of the brightest students are gamers. And we don't want to lose our top athletes and our top students to PWIs. So we're trying to introduce gaming to open that platform up to the universities that definitely need the resources that comes behind it.
So Quincy, if you're free on Sunday, we have I might not get all these schools right. George, you may have to help me. So we have Virginia State, Fayetteville State, Hampton. Mason, Southern University, and there's one more.
You say Oklahoma, Langston?
Langston, yeah. But there's one more. But we have those 6 schools who are facing off against each other in NBA 2K, and the winner is going to get bragging rights. We're doing an all-day segment, and then it's going to air on Black News Channel in a couple weeks. But the thing that we're excited about is, there's almost 200 PWIs, Quincy, that actually have esports, whether it's gaming curriculum, whether it's clubs, or just they're involved in the gaming industry. And from what we could find, we could only find 6 schools of HBCUs that actually have some kind of platform. None of them have degree programs, but we're trying to at least open this up. We're paying for everything. We got you'll know this. We got a grant from the Arthur Blank Foundation so that we can put this on. So the schools don't have to pay for anything. They don't have to come out of their pocket for anything. We're going to have people like yourself commentating while the game is going on. Will be a live stream. So George, Lloyd Pierce from the Atlanta Hawks, Flip Murray, and Flip Murray, where did he go? Was it Shaw? He went to Shaw, I think. For yeah. So we have Chris Broussard's coming on, Aton Thomas, Tyrone Poole, Everson Walls from Dallas. He'll be coming on. So we have all these interviews planned while the game is streaming, so that the guys can kind of, the OGs can kind of talk about how the HBCUers are playing and kind of give them some celebrity support and athletic support. And we're just really excited about it because these little kids making millions of dollars on gaming. And we're like, if we could get these brothers and sisters out here who were doing it anyway. 70% of Black African-American teenagers and young adults are already gaming and watching and playing and with their friends. So this is just another way to keep them engaged as this pandemic rages on, to keep them engaged with their schools, to keep them, making sure that they're out here representing. And hopefully, somebody's going to go home with these bragging rights, Jonathan. We can't wait to see who it's going to be.
I'm an OG. Can I come too?
You come on too. You can come right on.
Right. All right. Well, I just want to make sure they weren't trying to box me out here.
No, we want you on.
But listen, we have a crowd of people that are trying to get in here, and we have another gentleman that you guys don't know, Iris. I know you know him. He's our basketball.
You still there, Tracey?
Yes.
We call him the Savant. We're gonna pop him in here. DeShaun Tate is in the building. DeShaun, are you there, sir?
I am. Thanks for having me on. Nice to see everybody in here. George, Quincy, of course, you, the Rev, Tracey, Miss Iris, who I've been on with before, a familiar face. The ladies are looking beautiful, I can tell you.
Oh, thank you. It's COVID time, so thank you.
Let me tell you how this works, DeShaun. See, I found this out. See, I can watch the viewer count. I know something kind of funny. When I go to a full screen of Iris and Tracey, kind of go, and as soon as it's to me, the count goes, so I'm like, oh, okay, I see how we're going to do this shit. I keep popping them up. And they watch. I'm telling you, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to go ahead and do a little, just a focus on Iris for a second, and then we'll go ahead and put that. There it is. Look at that. So, immediately, my viewer count started going up immediately. I'm telling you, this is how this works. The same thing. When I went to Tracey, I'm going to tell you, now watch this. We actually got real feedback on social media. I'm going to go here to Periscope, and here's what the guy at Periscope said. He's just back to draw. Tracey, you're so beautiful. So I already know how this works. You just pick the beautiful people up, get the OG off the screen, and everybody's happy. Because they really want to see you guys anyway at the end of the day. But again, we appreciate everybody, man. Again, guys, you listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. Everybody's WIGR. I know you guys have to go, so we say thank you so much. We're going to let you guys take a look one more time at who you might see on the Real Talk Sports Show, and then we'll be back to finish up our show after the show. So, guys, don't go nowhere. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
My man JB Smooth showed us some love there. We actually got some of those clips when we had a chance to cover the blue carpet. They should have called it the Turn Your Nose blue carpet. We were covering the ESPN party when they had it here, ironically for the Georgia-Alabama college football championship game. Crazy. They had to have heaters outside. The temperature at one point got down to 9 degrees. So the minister was freezing. But thank God for all those guys taking time out to hit us up on the red carpet. And to Mr. Woodson, Charles Woodson now has his own winery, and we actually were able to interview him at the week of the Super Bowl, big NFL, Tasty NFL event. So we thank God for him. And we tell you guys, listen, I'm going to run the archives. You're going to see all kind of Hall of Famers. Real Talk Sports is going to ratchet up a little bit. We're going to turn it up. And as you can see, we have the beautiful people with us. So if you know the very best sports show, well, except for the DeShaun show, very best sports show in Atlanta, you can tune to the Real Talk Sports Show because you never know who you might see. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. All right, so now, again, this big weekend coming up, esports happening. We got to beat. I tell you, another sport that has some traction, slowed down a little bit because of the COVID. I covered. It was Drone Racing League, where they actually racing the drone. Incredible. They take these drones, little small ones, and they get speeds of 60 or 70 miles an hour, flying around, and they get all kinds of same thing, prize money. I think the top prize for one of the races was $50,000. So, all you tech heads out there, there's some money to be had. Just saying. Well, Quincy, listen, you've been kind of like the contributor here on the side. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on. I know you have a football camp, I believe. You got some instructional things happening. What you got cooking in Quincy Carter world?
Well, right now, man, I'm trying to stay as safe as possible, of course, man. And should just take every day, man, as it comes to me. But actually, I got my quarterback school out here in Austin, Texas, where I've just moved here recently, about a year ago. And coming up this weekend, me and a buddy of mine, Balin Trujillo, we'll be in Orlando on the 3rd, on Friday on the 3rd. And we're having a 3-hour camp out there. And I'll spend all weekend down there in Orlando with him, man. He's become a real good friend of mine. And then I got a camp in Decatur. It's going to be a little bit more private because of the way, Georgia's kind of handling COVID right now, and us being a little bit more safer, and all the restrictions and everything that goes along with that. So I have a camp on the 10th in Decatur. We really can't disclose our location right now, but we'll have a good little gathering to make sure some kids come out and have fun and learn some skills, man, that may help them along the way. Then I'll be in Albany on July 12th at Westover High School at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that trip. Haven't been home in a while now. It's gonna be good to catch up with a lot of friends, of course. Spend a little time with Iris too. Yeah, man. So yeah, those are the 3 main camps coming up here in the next couple of weeks that I got going on. And then, of course, I do my individual training based out here in Austin, too.
Okay, man, that's good stuff. I don't know what's happened tonight, but it's like everybody got something like where they can't reveal it. Like with George, I can't tell you where I'm at, but I can't. I mean, y'all do a lot of undercover stuff here. I mean, this is the Real Talk Sports Show. We normally have people breaking news to reveal it, but all the other night, we have to hit you back. We can't really
right.
On air. I'm like, oh, I'm just saying. Well, listen, we're going to shift into a little basketball. We talked about it earlier about the idea of the safety NBA. DeShaun, you just came out from interviews off in the Detroit area, which has been, unfortunately, a hotbed for COVID earlier. It kind of slowed down. Tell us kind of what the vibe is. We had a couple more players now say, I'm not playing. So what kind of the feedback that you're hearing in the world of the NBA as far as this season is concerned?
Well, yeah, as far as, the reaction to everything here in Michigan, definitely much different than it is around the Atlanta area. That's for sure. I did it probably about a month when I was in West Palm Beach, Florida. Not a bad place to go in quarantine. And then came back to Atlanta for a couple of days and seen what things was looking like. I come to Michigan and I've been here for over a week, and I don't think I've seen anyone wearing gloves just yet.
Wow.
Probably somewhere right around 50-50 on wearing masks. So, you can kind of see why things are spiking up the way that they are in a lot of these different cities and states. I was, in Detroit last weekend visiting my dad for Father's Day, and, people are spinning wheels and doing donuts in the intersections and hanging out of their sunroofs. So you can only imagine what the spike in the numbers and where they kind of come from. But in regards to the NBA, I actually just seen something that just came across my timeline. So please excuse me while I'm looking at my phone. I have really bad eye contact with you guys. But I'm seeing, according to, I believe, Time Magazine, Adam Silver has admitted that a continued spread of COVID-19 throughout the NBA could result in the season being called off. So I'm not exactly sure in regards to not only how much truth there is to that or how much weight that it holds, because I didn't hear Adam Silver say that necessarily. But that wouldn't surprise me after what I think 16 of 302 players that will be participating in the playoffs that are representing one of those 22 teams, are testing positive for COVID-19. And that was probably about 2 or 3 days ago, and there's definitely been more since then, probably somewhere in the 20s. So that's pretty much for the most part what I'm hearing right now. Everybody's kind of keeping their fingers crossed, toes crossed, T's crossed, I's crossed, a little bit of everything, so that there can actually be some basketball to be played. But I kind of get the feeling as of right now in regards to everything that you're hearing about players that are not willing to participate because of the social injustice movement and how we as Black people need to really capitalize while we do have people's attention. On top of that, you have some players that feel like their voices are not being heard because they are newer players in the NBA, so they don't really quite have a voice as some of the better players in the NBA. And then even that are probably trying to chase rings more than anything. But even more so, I think that you're going to see a lot more players kind of fall by the wayside after somebody, God forbid, does test positive for COVID-19, and people are going to get scared all over again, and it's really and ultimately going to unfortunately put an asterisk on the season for whoever wins the championship in the event that they do resume back.
Yeah, I think no doubt you're gonna have a problem. I mean, first of all, I think, whoa, we got somebody getting too close to that mic. I think that the problem that you're having is what everybody feared. You're having a continued uptick in the number of cases that are being reported. You also have an uptick in people getting, pretty sick. Now, fortunately, the under 40 crowd, which I have unfortunately left the building on that, but the under 40 crowd apparently is getting sick, but you hear the conversation the same. Hey, it feels like I got hit by a car. I couldn't move. I was, sick, feverish, and then after about a week or so, I kind of got somewhere back to normal. But I mean, it's just like they talked about Rudy Gobert in the article that he still doesn't have all his taste and his smell back yet from his battle with the COVID. So I mean, I think that if you listen to some of the people talking about it that have caught it because they went out and acted the fool when everything opened up, they're all saying the same things, that this is nothing to mess with. Even if it doesn't kill you, you're going to be feeling really bad for as many as 2 to 4 weeks after you contract this. And then the other thing too is you're basically a walking time bomb because any among your family members, especially older family members, this is going to be a real problem. So you're thinking what everybody else is thinking, that the NBA may not go forward, or you think you'll actually start the season and then stop it if they get too high of a quote unquote body count of people getting sick?
I do think that that's what will ultimately happen, is that the season will resume. I think it just became official a few days ago that there will be a official resumption date of July 30th. But I do think that things will change a little bit in regards to if more and more people continue to get sick. I mean, who knows what is going to happen? You do have to have regular workers there that are not being, housed, if you will, that are going in and out of the bubble, going home to their families and then going back to the arena the next day or whatever, what have you, later that day or whatever, for work purposes. And so, it's supposed to be where you're inside of that bubble. You're not supposed to be able to leave that bubble, but they're not paying for those people who are working regular 9-to-5 jobs to be able to stay there. So with, a lot of that, you can only imagine what comes along with it. But, it's obviously a very unfortunate set of circumstances, but I'm looking at it like, who are we to want basketball back, a sport? You're hearing a person talk right now who probably loves basketball more than anybody. If they're playing basketball on the moon, I tell you all the time, give me my astronaut helmet, my globe helmet, and my astronaut suit.
Come on, you put the helmet on?
Yeah, we need credentials to go to the moon. That's just the way that it is. But, I don't want to be the person that's so selfish to where I want to be entertained by basketball so much that I don't care about the lives of other people. Because on top of that, you have to remember how many tests it's going to take. They said from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, they're going to need over 15,000 tests to be able to test these players and staff, medical staff, and everybody that's going to be there. That's not even including those that are asymptomatic. And so from that standpoint, it almost as if it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, if I'm just being honest with you. And I would love basketball back just as much as anybody else, but we gotta take care of our own people at the end of the day.
Well, we all know what's driving the train is Money, baby.
I'm sorry, and I apologize, Reverend Simmons, but I did want to mention something about that. I'm glad that you said that, so I'm definitely going to give you the credit for it. I was only thinking it. It's all about the money. That's all that it's about. And that's another reason why, as much as these COVID-19 cases go through the roof and kind of ramp up, these are people that are losing money. And this should not be a surprise to us that money is more important than the lives, that are at risk of people, because these people, and that's just, that's America. That's the way that this thing has always been. That's not a surprise to me, nor should it be for anybody else. But I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that is the driving force. Is the almighty dollar, and that's the American way. That's the only way in almost 36 calendars that I've ever known it to be.
That's the bottom line. That's what's driving football. That's what's making colleges try to think if they can do it, because we know, and Irish, I mean, you're very well aware, being, having the Georgia page, how much money the Georgia football, but especially the football program, how much money that generates for the school.
I mean, I don't know a dollar amount, but I know it's a lot of money. You know what? I'm gonna tell you what. I try to keep my ear to the ground, see what's going on, and I caught an article this morning. You may have read it already, Jonathan, because you're on top of things as well. But at the University of Georgia, it's reported 147 students and faculty at this moment has tested positive for COVID-19. So when you deduct that school is out right now, they don't have any classes that are taking place on campus, that leaves you with only the athletes that are on campus right now. So you're talking about 147. Probably a lot of them are the football players, but 147 athletes and the coaches and the faculty actually at this moment has COVID-19. But from what I can tell, even though those numbers are astronomical, they're still talking about starting the season on time, starting practice on time. I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about that if my son went to school there. I mean, not necessarily at Georgia, but any of those schools that are still pressing forward to start the football season on time. So
yeah, it's no doubt. I mean, it's just a real problem.
Yeah.
And I think that at some point they have to address it. Well, DeShaun, I'm gonna bring you back real quick and tell people how they can find out more about you. Give us website, social media, all that kind of good stuff.
Absolutely. At Tate's Take Hoops on the Twitter, as well as on the IG or the Gram or whatever the cool kids are calling it these days. TATES TAKEHOOPS. Hashtag, of course, where basketball lives. Actually just did a interview a couple of days ago, or was that yesterday, or 2 days ago rather, with Magic Johnson's brother, Urban Johnson's brother, Larry Johnson, who's the CEO and president of Brotherhood Against Drugs, and it was really, really good. I advise people to go and check that out. You can find that on my YouTube page at Tate's Take Sports, and anywhere that you find your favorite podcast, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Red Circle, just about anywhere that you find your favorite pods at, that is at Tate's Take Hoops, TATES or just type in Tate's Take in that little magnifying glass, i.e. the search box. So I really appreciate you for bringing me on, and you guys are doing some really, really good work. Good to see you again, the most beautiful Miss Iris, and looking forward to the next one. So I really appreciate it.
Hey, bro, appreciate you, man, and we thank you for joining us all the way from Michigan. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, and God bless.
Thank you.
Yeah, some good stuff there. I'm not sure if Quincy is still on the line. I don't see him, so I think we'll wait for him to jump back in and let us know. They're up. I think I see him pop back in the screen here. Let's kind of make some adjustments here and see if we can get him back in here. Let's add him in. Oh, there he is. All right.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah, so Quincy, I want to ask your opinion because I've been kind of hesitant over the years. I shouldn't say that. I've kind of spoken a couple of times. There are times where it seems like, and you may or may cannot answer it, but there are times where it seems like in the NFL, since the increase in dual threat quarterbacks, it does not appear that the league gives the same amount of protection to the dual threat quarterback that they do with other quarterbacks, no matter how great they are. Because my contention is that Cam's diminishing of play and the injuries, even to some degree to RG3, were caused by, especially with Cam, the league not protecting them the same way they did a Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Because I saw right here in Atlanta, matter of fact, you go to my YouTube page and see the hit that Deion Jones laid on Cam a couple of years ago. These types of hits on those quarterbacks, I think, would have got guys suspended or, fines. What's your sensibility? Do you feel the league protected you well when you were doing that? And do you think that they're doing that enough for dual threat quarterbacks right now in the NFL?
I'm kind of split down the middle because, it's football, of course. And I understand what the referees are actually, are trying to accomplish while they're out there, protecting a quarterback. And I'm pretty sure it's probably hard to referee guys like Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, and those guys. But I'll tell you this though, man. Some of the best advice I ever got, was from Doug Williams. And he always told me how, before the games, get to know who the referee was, and then when I got with Bill Parcells, kind of finding out their tendencies, because that's your best friend. That guy behind you, every game, man, that's your best friend. So, I'm just a straight shooter, man. Cameron's a little brash, man. And I'm not sure everybody understands him. I understand him. He's an Atlanta kid, young man. So I grew up, in Decatur. So I understand where he's coming from. I love his heart off the field and things that he's done in his community. But everybody's not accepting of Cam. And so if it's gonna be some plays where guys can, take a little hit on them and get a little free shot at them. I mean, you know how the world works, so I don't have to go too deep into that. You know what I'm saying? Things happen. So some of those things, are kind of caused by the type of person he is and people not, liking his personality at times. So, and I'm pretty sure, and that's why I say, on the flip side of it, I'm pretty sure it's hard to referee him too, because you got guys who's moving around. Are they in the pocket? Are they out the pocket? And so yeah, I just, wanted to just give you kind of my perspectives on both sides of it.
Well, yeah, and the reason why I ask you, because, it's easy for me or any other person that does sports talk to sit from a non-playing position, never been in that spot. They're doing this and that. And that's why I want to ask you that. And I knew that you had to be, you were going to be somewhat politically correct because, again, you've been in the league. You kind of know the whys and wherefore, and you're being honest because, see, a lot of times people don't want to evenly balance both sides of the situation. Do I think the league kind of took some of the gates around Cam? Absolutely. But do I think that some of it is what you said? A lot of people, good or wrong or right, don't like him because of his personality, even his style of dress and the way he carries himself. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people say we don't want our quarterback, and you can fill in whatever blank you want to look like that, sound like that, act like that, talk like that, whatever. It rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And people put up, and you know how it is, Quincy, everybody loves a winner. But people are out of dodge when all of a sudden you can't win. Now, speaking of winner, we got a guy here, I like to call him the living legend. He could get mad because he's not too much older than me. But when I first came to Atlanta, I watched this man and said, I actually can see an African-American doing sports every single night on my TV. And I got to pop him up on the screen. Here's the comments. He's saying, "What's up, Quincy?" from Sam the Man Crenshaw.
My man. What's up, Sammy? What's good, buddy?
Yep. So I hit Sam up. Hopefully he'll come on. I sent him the link, so hopefully he can join the broadcast. But yeah, man, and that's really one of the reasons that I think kept him out of the league for so long. I think a lot of people said, as good as he is, the sensibility was if he's not at 100%, even at 100%, he can be a hashtag a little bit of a drama queen. And so this is what you hear. I mean, again, I'm in the press. I've never been in a pro locker room outside of covering it, so I don't know. But that's kind of the feeling that I got. That a lot of people they weren't feeling him, so we're like, we don't care how good he is. We're not going to bring him into our locker room.
Yeah, well, from knowing a little bit of background about him, about the situation. I know that foot. I can't particularly say the name of the injury, but it's pretty serious, and it's really a career-ending injury too. So I think a lot of the teams were scared off by that, and they wanted to make sure that everything was, intact and it was strong, and he was able to come out and he's able to sign with somebody and get in their camp and at least compete for the starting job. So I think that was the big holdup. With all the COVID going on, you really couldn't host guys. So I think, that really held up a lot of things too. But the NFL has always been that traditional, type league where, they want our quarterback to act and speak and be a certain way. And Cam Newton hasn't fit that mold. And so, you're going to get some teams that know how to deal with that type of personality, and then you're going to get some teams that don't. But now his talent speaks for itself. And when he's healthy, he produces. And so I'm just glad to see him actually signing with somebody, and get in somebody's camp, man, and go out and compete for a job and get back to winning football games. Because that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
That's it. We talked about that earlier. Everybody likes a winner, and if you can produce, that's why Bill Belichick is who he is. He doesn't care what you've done before. If you have been a player who has been an impact player, he will always give you that second chance to come out because he knows he's got a system in place that if you're willing to work within his system, he can get the best out of your talent. So I think it's a great fit for him in Patriot land. I think that just, again, looking from the outside, Quincy, whether it be a 40-yard dash time, whether it be 20, the 225 bench press, all that stuff doesn't mean nothing as far as translating to what you can do on the field. But I will say, and this is from a grown man talking, an OG, dude, I saw the clips of him. I said, dang, dude, he looks like, he used to call himself Superman before, but that guy looks like a specimen.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
The Irish jumped right in. Oh, yeah.
No. Stop.
Honestly, I concur. Listen, I'm not mad at you. At the end of the day, I'm not mad at you. It's real talk. The guy, again, I don't like guys, but I'm saying he's a good-looking guy, 6'5". I guess now with all that muscle weight, about 255. And he just looks ripped. Everything I saw from him looked like the way the ball was coming out of his hand. And Quincy, you know all about that because you teach quarterbacks. It looks like he had good rhythm. It looks like the ball was coming out of his hand similarly to the way it used to. Not quite the 100% the same, but it had some zip on it. So I guess that's what everybody's waiting for, to kind of see that in real time.
Exactly. And that's what it's going to be all about, and that's what it's always been about with Cam Newton. When he's healthy, he produces. I think it's been a great time for him to take off this past, because it's really, the last couple of years, he really hasn't played a whole lot of football. So it's been a good time for him to, rest his body and heal. And the biggest thing about it, which I, kind of excited about is that he's motivated. Somebody pushed that other button in him. And we got to think about it now. This is the Cam Newton that's won a Heisman. This is the Cam Newton that's won a national championship. Yeah, buddy. So hold on, wait a minute. Did Auburn win a national championship? Yeah, they did.
They did, sir. Yeah. Matter of fact.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I guess I don't like to remember or admit that. But we're talking about a winner, man, and so winners win. So I'm excited, for his rebirth, and man, I'm looking forward to it, man. But he looks, he's always been a specimen, man. But what I love about what I'm seeing, from his videos and everything, is that he looks motivated. He looks ready.
No doubt. Well, speaking of a specimen, This man was an absolute beast when he set on the field here in Atlanta. Very short career, but in that 5-year span, he held his own and was one of the best running backs in the NFL. I think we finally got him on the line. William Andrews, do we see you, sir?
Hey, Jonathan, how you, man?
Hey, hurrah. Listen, we've been working on this thing for about 40 minutes, so we're so excited to have William Andrews in the building. Quincy,
hey, good evening.
Hey, good evening, brother. Good to have you. Good to have you.
Hey, what's up, William?
How you doing, man?
Good, brother. Good.
Greet you, man.
Good to speak to you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so go ahead. Go ahead, William.
No, I just wanted to say it's so good to be with you guys.
Hey, man, listen, it's good to have you. I'm just, like I said again, I see you from time to time, down at the games, because, you're one of the old school Falcons that consistently comes back and gives to the team even now. It was very exciting for me to be able to, working in with your schedule to get you out here, man. A lot of people I don't think really know, and I wish you might know from following the Falcons a little bit over time, but a lot of people are not aware that if you look at that 5-year span from when William came as a rookie to before he got injured, his numbers are on par with some of the other backs in that era. Let me read some of those backs in that era. Tony Dorsett, Walter Payton, all of these guys that were tearing up the league. William was right there amongst them. Matter of fact, I believe one year, William, you actually led the league in total yards from scrimmage. Is that correct?
Correct. Uh-huh.
Yep. And so, definitely, it's Falcons fans know that this guy was the absolute real deal. All kind of things going on from social media. This guy, William, Sam Crenshaw, giving a big shout out from Facebook. Say, what's up, number 31?
Hey, what's up, Chris?
Yeah, Sam is I appreciate him because he's always been supportive of our program. Tries to come on when he can. So we thank God for him. We thank God that he's got the comments popping up on Facebook Live. So there, William, the thing that really fascinated me when I looked, at this, because I obviously watched the Falcons. I was up in the New York area at that time, so I wasn't a big fan per se, but I was fascinated with what happened in that window between 78 and 80. Everybody talked about the Falcons offense and certainly the records they set in 2016. Everybody talked about how good the 2012 team is. But I think a lot of people have slept on that 1980 team that was 12-4, and that I think, did you guys have home field advantage throughout the whole playoff that year?
Yes, we did.
Right. So what?
If you look back on that era, right, we were 1980. We were the probably best team in the league, but we didn't have coaches to support us in terms of what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. I remember the night we played Dallas in Atlanta at Fulton County Stadium, and back then encroachment was allowed. Today you can't even get close to a lineman. So
you sure can.
Two tall John offside and went down the left side of our line. And that's the play we had called because Lynn Kane was running the ball and I was lead blocker.
Okay.
Disrupted all of the linemen and caused us to go a 4th down and 2.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that because, that year, I think you had rushed for about maybe 12 or 1300 yards, and people really, that was really the ultimate thunder and lightning. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Lynn Kane had about another 800 or 900 yards. You guys put up well over 3,000 yards in total offense.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I mean, and the other thing too is, I guess that was, I'm sure, the most difficult for you. I don't want to bring it back up, but you guys actually had the America's team. You guys really have beat the brakes off them. I think you guys were up 24-6 going into the 4th quarter, and for all intents and purposes, looked like, hey, San Francisco, y'all got to come here and try to do this in Atlanta.
And yeah, that was true, but of course the cards wasn't in our favor because we didn't have coaches to support what we wanted to do. When you have a defensive coordinator, after you get a league like that, want to go into a prevent setup, that's just prevent you from winning.
Right.
So that's what we had to deal with. But what could we say? We were out there players trying to do our thing and try to do it the best we could, but we had coaches that wasn't buying into what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it, because we could have easily been Super Bowl champions that year.
That team was that well balanced. Another guy's been on the show before, your teammate, the great linebacker, Buddy Curry, he's been on the show. And, yeah, that team was just a very well balanced team, a very stout defensive team. Of course, the Grits Blitz, the legendary Grits Blitz, was really for the first 3 quarters of that game, gave Danny White Dallas fits. I mean, you guys had him on the run the whole game.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so, yeah, man. So what was it? What was the magic elixir? Because, like, you came along and Barkowski got there in 76, a couple of years before you guys. Was it similar to what we saw with the Falcons for the last couple of years, where just management was able to kind of build this nucleus that made you guys really such a ferocious team for that 3 or 4 year window?
Well, I think the thing is that they were looking for some people that would be committed to what they were trying to do. And Lynn Kane, I was drafted in 79 as 3rd round B pick. James Mayberry was before I was. He got drafted 3rd round A, and then Lynn Kane got drafted 4th round. And then so Lynn and I were the 2 blockers, because now remember we blocked for Joe Cribbs and James Brooks when I was at Auburn. And then Lynn Kane blocked for Charlie White out at USC.
USC. Mm-hmm.
Lynn and I knew the importance of how to block, what to block, and when to block, and that's what the Falcons was missing. They didn't have the backs that could take on the linebackers and keep them away from Barkowski. But Lynn Kane and I, because we were touted as fullbacks, we were right there in the system, and we knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, you talk about that. You talk about the system and being. That was really, I think, your hallmark, and a lot of people don't realize, because they always think about you as being kind of the thunderback, bowling people over. As a matter of fact, I was trying to pull up the YouTube clip. It's a famous clip the NFL has, is one of their archive clips of you playing against San Francisco, and you got a pitch and broke containment, and it was you and Ronnie Lott. And I mean, Ronnie said later that was one of the hardest times he'd ever been hit in NFL history. That's a big statement from a guy who used to bring the wood.
Well, Ronnie is a good friend, and I'll tell you, I love it with him and against him. And can't take anything from him. He brought the lightning too. So we were thunder and lightning when we hit. So it was just like that.
Yeah, it was really a tremendous play. We saw it again. It's a part of that 1980 season, a great highlight for the season. You look at the Falcons now, and so we have once again a crowded backfield situation. And look at this team. Who would you kind of look at? Your kind of back 1A and maybe 1B. Obviously, Ty Gurley is going to be, I don't want to say a feature back the way he used to, but obviously he's going to get the lion's share to carry. Who would you want, or who do you think might be the kind of the number 2 guy as far as carries for this Falcons team, as you see it?
Well, I really couldn't say, because I really don't know what they are trying to do. They got the offense around Matt Ryan, and I don't think he's the guy, but that's a thought for other folk to consider. But I played with quarterbacks. I mean, I played with more quarterbacks and against quarterbacks in the league that I could tell you that would actually just blow up a Wikipedia page. But when you look at all the guys I played, Ron Jaworski, Joe Theismann, Steve Barkowski, Steve Young, all these guys that I've had a chance to go against, even John Elway and out in Denver and all those guys, I just don't think they have, in other words, they don't have an identity yet. Right. They call themselves a Falcon, but what is your identity? Are you a runner? Are you a passer? Is that what you're going? Because you live and die by the pass, you're going to die by it. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
They get some time off that clock in order to win. But these guys won't commit to running, or they commit to throwing, but they won't commit to running.
And I think that's been as you know, that's been the bane of existence. Really, Matt Ryan's whole career here. They did a little bit of it when they had Michael Turner. They tried to kind of do more of that, but really since that point, and they did a little bit in the 2016 season. It wasn't a traditional style of running, but they ran the ball very effectively in 2016, coming off those spread sets. running Devontae when you put them in open space. And as you know, anytime you put any kind of scat back in open space, they become a whole different animal. But
there's no question about that's trouble. There's no question about it.
Right.
Unfortunately, I wasn't a scat back. I was fullback. And a lot of people say that, I didn't have the speed, but I could run as fast as I need to. I didn't have to outrun everybody. My whole system in running was, what's the object of the game? First down. So you get a number of first downs. Guess what? You're gonna be in the end zone. That's the way it works. But these guys they want to get all at once. That's not the game. That's not how the game's supposed to be played. The game is 3 downs and you move the chain, or it's 4th down and you punt. But these guys want to throw it on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and even sometimes 4th down, and they still don't get a break. I don't understand that.
Well, it's funny you mention that because, again, I think one of the things that people don't know, and guys, I encourage you, please go to Google, go to the Falcons page, and put in William Andrews, and what you'll find is he kind of was I don't say an oddity, but some degree an oddity for what we see more and more backs do today. William was not only a fullback, but he was your featured back running the ball. A lot of people don't know about you, William, that you had you averaged probably about 40 or 50 receptions in the 4 years that you were injured, 40 to 50 receptions every year. I think one year you had 80 receptions. So what enabled you to be such a well-rounded player, able to run the ball with power, pick up big yards when you needed it, but more importantly, as you said, be able to block for the quarterback as well?
Well, I was taught by one of the greatest coaches in my young life, gentleman by the name of James Bryant. He coached down in Florida at Florida A&M with Coach Jake Gaither. And Coach Jake Gaither had a saying, he needed players that was agile, mobile, and hostile. And James Bryant brought that to the city of Thomasville, of which I played in the city school at Thomasville High. And that's what we made our living at being hostile, mobile, and agile kind of cats that play football. Now, if you go back and look at, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Titans when Denzel was in that movie.
Yes, sir.
Touted that with us in Thomasville, right? Because there was a team that no team scored more than 9 points on us the whole year.
Wow.
So that tells you what kind of team we were back in those days. We played Valdosta, we played Lowndes County, Moultrie, Albany, all these
legendary programs, yes, sir.
But the thing of it is when we made a commitment to do something back in integration and all like that, we had white kids that want to play with black kids and that kind of thing. So they went and started their own school. But then when they found out that we were winning like we were, they wanted to come back. And the coaches gave us the decision to make in terms of who would come back. Would we welcome them back or won't we? And we said, well, no, we're doing well enough without them right now. We don't need them. So that was the game plan, and that was the setup from then on. So we won 2 state championships and 1 national championship. We outscored everybody in the nation my senior year in high school.
And that's incredible. I mean, that just is incredible. And tell us a little bit about your experience with Auburn, your tenure there. And I think a lot of people, they're expecting these huge numbers. I looked at them. You had, pretty good numbers at Auburn, but I don't think anybody really knew the capacity of what you could do on the Falcons based on just watching at Auburn.
Well, okay, now I played with 2 dynamic backs there, James Brooks and Joe Cribbs.
Joe Cribbs, that's correct. Yes, sir.
So these guys were like little brothers to me. So when I came in, I was a year ahead of them. I was 2 years ahead of James, a year ahead of Joe. And they both became real good friends and great brothers of mine when we was at Auburn. Coach Barfield came to me one day and said, look, William, we got James and Joe, and they're dynamic backs, and we don't want to see them leave and go to another school. So will you reduce your role as a running back or tailback and work with us at fullback? And I said, well, Coach, my whole game plan in this thing is never to sit on the bench. I always want to be in. I wasn't that kind of cat that sit out. You know, I like to mix it up. I don't play around sitting on no bench. I can't do nothing for you sitting on the bench. So I agreed to go with the system that they wanted to go with. And Joe and James, I blocked for them just as well as I blocked for Lynn Kane and anybody else that was lined up behind me. Joe Riggs as well. I blocked for him. So it didn't make any difference. It didn't make any difference who was running the ball. Just run it. That was my philosophy.
Well, no question, man. Again, you came out of an era where there were, you still had great fullbacks. I mean, it was yourself during that era. Certainly John Riggins over in Washington. Matt Snell was kind of more the tail end of his career by that time. But I mean, there were in the 70s, the fullback was still an important position, unlike today.
Well, that's the thing. I was at the last the Black Hall of Fame dinner in Atlanta before this pandemic hit, right?
Yep.
And they had some guys there from the Hall of Fame, right? Do you know the last fullback to go in the Hall of Fame was John? What's the guy name? The big guy at Miami. Larry Zonka.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. Another great fullback from the 70s. That's right. Yep.
He's the last fullback to go in the Hall of Fame, right?
Wow.
I put up numbers bigger than his, and I was a fullback. But they want to wrap me in the running back. I was a true fullback. I wasn't a running back. I was a true fullback. But they didn't look at it in that respect. But I gained more yards than anybody in the first 5 years of play than any other back in the league.
Yeah, I mean, your numbers were ginormous. I'm gonna go here to Football Reference again, guys. If you want to find this out, footballreference.com. It's pro-football-reference.com, and just put in William Andrews. Not that you put in any player, but you can find the information. I'm going to read some of these numbers to you. And Williams, the years that really kind of hit you was really right off the rip. Rookie season, 1,000 yards, 20 receptions, but after that, man, it was like Katie bought a door. 1980, the huge season where everybody thought the Falcons could have won the Super Bowl. 1,300 yards on the ground, 51 receptions for almost another 500 yards. And in the following year, off the charts as well, another 1,300 yards on the ground. This time, 81 receptions, 700 plus yards in the air in terms of receptions, and led the league with 2,036 yards of total offense from scrimmage. And so really, had it not been for the knee injury, we really don't know just how ginormous those numbers would have been. You obviously stayed healthy.
Yeah, well, I appreciate all those accolades, and I thank you. But I tell you, I couldn't have done it without an offensive line up front. And those guys willing to block for me and giving me the inference to do what I need to do in the backfield. The one thing I'd always tell my linemen, if you can't move your guy, just stalemate him. I'll make my own path in that respect. And I've always told tailbacks, if they ever line up behind me and you see me stalemate a linebacker, you got to go the right or left. That's going to be on you, but don't run up my back. That's not what you either go right or left. Now, if I got my head on the right side, that's clear path to go on the right side. If I got my head to the left, you got to go left because that's clear path as well. So we learned that based on us working together every day, all day, and we seeing how well we do. Lynn Kane was the same way. I knew exactly when he had his guy, when he couldn't handle his guy, or he handled it, but he couldn't move him. I knew exactly what to do, and so did he. So the young kids today don't understand. You got to have help. You cannot run the people that are blocking for you. You got to wait your time. Then when you see that opening, that's when you hit it, and you hit it like you're in a rocket ship.
Well, it's funny you mention the offensive line because at that time the Falcons, from my understanding, had a pretty good line. I think let me see if I can remember some of the guys. Was Jeff Van Note on that part of that group? Was he there?
Center.
Was Bill Fralick there at that time?
Fralick was a guard, but Fralick wasn't in there.
Okay.
Here's the guys. I'll give you the guys on my offense.
Go ahead.
It was the tight end, Junior Miller.
Oh, he's one of the best. Very underrated.
Right tackle was Warren Bryant.
Okay.
Left tackle was Left tackle was Mike Ken. Left guard was R.C. Tillman. Right guard was Dave Scott. Right tackle was Warren Bryant.
Yeah, that was a line. But matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Ken wasn't he inducted recently to the Atlanta Sports Hall of Fame? I want to say about maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Correct.
Right, yeah, 'cause I was there. So yeah, great stuff, man. Well, listen, we appreciate you wrestling with all this equipment. I know it's still a little snarky right now, but we're going to have you back on. We're going to continue to bring it, what I like to call this segment now, Falcons Flashback. So many Falcons groups and guys that, follow the show. And, people have been asking me, hey, man, when can we get some guys on? So I appreciate you are our inaugural guy, our first guy in our Falcons Flashback. And what better guy to have one of the greatest Falcons running backs of all time, William Anthony, in the building. We appreciate you, man. And how can people find out more about you? You got like a social media or website we can kind of follow you?
I don't. I got to tell you a little story before you leave, right?
Sure.
My daughter put me on Facebook, right? I don't do social media and that kind of thing.
I got you.
On there now, everybody is sending me all kind of
requests.
And all that. But man, they wearing me out, man.
Well, listen, man. I mean, it's just the thing about it is that what I do tell people about social media, and that's one of the things I'm looking forward to doing a class on, is specifically for us baby boomers. A lot of people are they're like, hey, man, it's a lot of business on our messages. But in fact, it is a great tool when you use it for primarily for business, where people can find you, where you can, because I don't share a lot of posts. My primary thing is I kind of post things that I think are relevant to either me personally or the Real Talk Sports Show, and that's pretty much it. I'm not trying to watch all them crazy videos. I'm like, hey man, I posted. I'm out of there. So I would definitely encourage you to stay on social media, have a page, the William Andrew page, and because people, like I said, man, people really want to kind of stay in contact with you. Like I said, you were such a great influence for the city then, but more importantly, it's because you stay tied to the city. Like I said, I've been privileged to cover the Falcons for the last 4 years, and anytime they ask the legend to come back, you're always there. And I see you at other events. I see you at the Aerotropolis meetings. So you've been a part of this community. And I think that people really want to. I mean, you have to mention that, but people just really want to contact you and be able to interact with you. Because of the impact you've had. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I love people, and I love the fans, and I love folk that really enjoy the game. And Johnson, I got to give you a lot of credit. Thank you so much for your leadership in terms of what you're doing media-wise. And I think, for us guys that some of us have faded into the sunset, we just faded for a minute. We are here, and we have, it's about 480 guys in Atlanta that have played in the NFL. And we have our meetings first Monday of every month here in Atlanta of the players that are here.
Yep.
But we don't get a big turnout because these guys don't think that they're going to be like me one day, retired.
Oh yeah.
And living with a wife and having a good time with that. But they don't see that. They see themselves as being invincible for the rest of their days. Well, I got news. Sometimes you're going to have breakdowns, trust me. And I got breakdowns. My knees are gone.
Well, look, that's one of the things that I thank you for your kind words. One thing I try to do, even though I reach OG status, I still interact with a lot of younger guys. And so that's one of the things I've tried to do. Obviously, not being a player, a lot of stuff goes in one ear and out the other. But I'm trying to convince guys that, hey, man, you need to interact with.
Jonathan, I'll tell you what would be good on one of your segments is if I can offer something to you.
Yep.
Is the fact that these guys do not realize and don't understand that they're going to be in the position that we are.
Right.
Can't play the game anymore. Granted, they got a bigger contracts and all like that. That's all fine and good. But let me tell you something. The money runs out if you don't have anything to fall back on. That's why I tell these young kids, what do you want to do? Don't just go to school and be an athlete. Go to be more than an athlete, because guess what? When that ends, it's over with. I said, but now you got to get out in the real world and see what's going on out there. But you can't lose touch with people that really have your interest at heart. And most folk don't have your interest at heart. They want to exploit you, but that's all they want to do. They don't want you to. Because see, when you start outshining them, then they have a problem. Well, why did you know what I was before I came here? So don't give me all that. I don't want to get all that foolishness, man. I don't have time for it. I'm 63 years old, and I don't want, I don't want this kind of junk no more. It's crazy, man. But like I say, you have elevated this thing, and I think what you ought to do with your show is find these guys that's got stories to tell you about what they went through and how they made it through the incidents and everything that they've gone through, and what has changed their lives in this football thing.
Well, it's funny you mention that because that's kind of the kind of my show is that our tagline is sports from a different perspective. Had a young man on earlier, Jamie Winborn, a guy that played in the league for 10 years. But I mean, he told me in his last year, I mean, he kind of hit it, but he actually had cancer. So as soon as he got out of the league, he had to deal with battling cancer. Had to get a bunch of operations, but thankfully, again, he was a Vanderbilt grad. He had education, and now he's doing quite well. So yeah, man, that's my whole thing. Certainly what my hope is, and I think I talked to you about this before, and some of the other officers from both the PA retired and the alumni, is that I want to have a regular segment on the show, for the players, both present and past, to kind of let people know what's going on.
I wish you would, and I hope that you'll continue this up. And I'll support you however I need to support you, because I think what you're doing is wonderful, and these guys need to see that we are down to earth. We don't carry around no ego, because we put that down when we left the game. Now we're raising families, grandkids, and that kind of thing, and we're making examples of ourselves for them. And so that's my biggest thing, is an example. Always leave something behind. Don't take it all with you and just bottle it up. You can't do it. I tell you, a guy told me one time, he said, William, I'm going to leave this with you, Jonathan, and I want you, your guest and all this, to remember this. They said knowledge gained and not shared is knowledge lost.
Wow.
Okay? This was given to me back in 1996. Knowledge gained and not shared is knowledge lost.
Well, like I said, man, I appreciate you for dropping the wisdom you did today. And it's funny because you mentioned about, guys coming on and doing different things. So I had him on my show, I want to say about a year and a half ago, but another guy that was a great running back for Atlanta, got his knee injured, I think, the second year, Joe Prophet, was on the show as well. You know Joe, and he's another guy that tells a story like you that really did so much more off the field in terms of business and so forth. So yeah, man, I'll circle back around with the league officers again. I've committed to go to one of the meetings when you guys will allow me to do that, the presentation, and then hopefully we can get the rotation started. I think now is the perfect time because people want to really know more because you can't see anybody again. They can't go to the events where they normally see guys. We cover the golf tournaments and things like that. All that stuff is out. So I think it would be a great time to get the platform started and let you guys come on and then continue on as we get back to some sense of normalcy.
Well, I would love to come back on the show because there's some things that I want to run by you and share with you about what we're in the process of doing now that I'm out of football and what I'm getting ready to do in my next life. I would love to just have an opportunity to sit down and just chat with you a little bit. I'm not ready to announce yet, but it's coming. And it's going to be great for everyone that is in the sound of your broadcast, because it's going to actually turn into thousands and thousands of jobs.
Well, William, I'm all about that, brother. I tell people all the time, I mean, it's good. I mean, don't be wrong. I'm very excited about what has been done already through the protesting. Don't want to take anything away from that, but at the end of the day, you have to begin to not to implement policies, but as you mentioned, do things at the ground level that people can now begin to take care of themselves and take care of their families and set, as we like to overuse term, set generational income and people can grow from there. So we appreciate you. Listen, I know you got no website yet or social media, so we're just going to say again, we thank you for watching us. I mean, thank you for coming on the broadcast, and we look forward to having you back on again real soon with some breaking news. We like to break news on the Real Talk Sports Show.
Thank you, friend. I appreciate it.
All right, William. God bless you, bro.
You too, bro.
It's just me and you.
Yep, just me and you, as we always like to end our broadcast. Great stuff. So this is really, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better. Appreciate William, appreciate Jamie, appreciate Quincy making a surprise appearance. That guy is mad busy. So, I mean, the fact that he would come on and join us was really sensational. And really, I mean, so thankful that you were able to introduce me to your nephew. I mean, what a powerful story.
Yes, I am so proud of him. I am so proud of him. Now, one thing his father didn't mention, but I'm going to share. I'm going to be honest with you. I did jump on a little late, so if he did share this, then it's okay. But Nicholas has already gotten some offers. I know at Baylor, Georgia State, Alabama are the three that I know they're, when before there was this moratorium on them visiting,
Right.
they were going to do some things. His father's going to take him, but hey, you know what? I am so proud of him. And as you notice, he kept emphasizing education. He has a high GPA as well. I don't know if he mentioned that to you.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's an honor student.
Yeah, that's what his dad was saying. I mean, the thing about it is that's what we really want to. That's what we want to bring out, because the story is compelling, because he had to deal with a physical infirmity, but more importantly, he was able to keep his grades up and still has that great desire. I mean, you talking about going to Chuck Smith, pass rushing camp. That's not for amateurs.
No, that's right. That's right. Chuck really loves him too. Yes, he's been seeing Chuck now for I can imagine about 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, a lot of connections through Chuck Smith. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I can tell you, it's just great stuff, and I'm really looking forward to some of the things that we're going to be able to do, hopefully in the not too distant future. Appreciate all of your input and what you've done already in a brief amount of time. I mean, you literally have been a guest like only about 3 or 4 times. And it's like you've got more guests, and we got some great shows going on. So, listen, man, I mean, and I'll tell you the same thing that I've mentioned even to Tracey. We really want to try to start utilizing you guys on segments. So certainly if Georgia actually plays the season, we do want to actually have a focus on the Dawgs.
That'd be great.
Right. Well, we can really kind of narrow in on them. And that's why I've extended the show. We're going to go to at least 90 minutes, but most likely we'll go to a full 2-hour show because it's difficult for us to get in all of this good stuff in just an hour.
I agree.
As you saw tonight, I mean, because William had so much difficulty getting in, it took 45 minutes for us to get him actually on the air. So, and then when he came on, he's got so much rich knowledge and information, as most of our guests do. So, yeah, we're going to go to at least a 90-minute, most likely a 2-hour show, and let each one of you guys have a segment, because you all are so powerful in terms of, what you have to bring to the table and the guests and the information that people want to hear.
Oh, great. Thank you. That sounds great.
Yep, so we're definitely excited about that. And like I said, I mean, I tell everybody, hey, do I want to see some sports this year? Sure, I do. But I mean, what we don't want is anybody to get ill. We don't want to have a situation where I don't care if you're saying you're young and recover. That's not the point. I've been in the hospital. That's not a good place to be. I've talked to a friend who's not young, but younger than me. And she said she went from having a scratchy throat to feeling like she was run over by a truck in about less than 2 days. And she said, the shivers, the sickness, the nausea, all that stuff. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you just don't want to get, not only that for yourself, but you don't want to be a carrier of infection to somebody else.
That's right. That's right.
So, folks, you want to act right. Well, listen, as always, the time has flown away from us, as always. But we thank God for you. And
thank you.
So tell people about how they can follow you, and of course, your pages on social media.
Well, of course, you can see I've learned to put the Ultimate Dog Nation on there with my name, so you guys will know to go there to join it. And as you can see, I mean, of course, we had one of the members to come on tonight, but we got a lot of former dogs in that group, and we're excited about them. They contribute a lot. It's a lively group, as you've noticed. So yeah, you can find me there if you want to just follow what I'm saying on my personal page, which is a little different. I don't talk about the dogs on my personal page too much, but it's just Iris Fambro Carter, and that's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You'll just type in Iris Fambro Carter and you'll find me.
Well, that's it. And also, we want to give a big shout out. I think the big sister had the big 6-0 birthday this weekend.
Yes, my oldest sister. Yes, I'm so excited. So I came to be, we had planned to take her to Paris. That's where she wanted to go. That's kind of what we had been planning for a long time. And then COVID said, nope, you ain't going to Paris. So then my niece said, okay, look, let's see if we can rent out a ballroom or something to have the party there. And I'm like, nope, that didn't happen either. Wow. So we ended up converting my niece's condo into a Parisian cafe, and it was so nice. They had, she rented all these tables and these Parisian chairs. And my youngest sister is, she bakes cakes, gourmet cakes, very good. And she built one, looked like the Eiffel Tower, and that was nice. And so I paint, so I got a lot of little things I know how to do.
You're a talented woman.
Yeah. So I provided some paintings that looked like something that Van Gogh would have painted. And then I had some more art in my house that was either paintings of Paris or painted by a French artist. So I love actually these two behind me. I painted those. Those are Rothko's. I painted those. But anyway, she turned 6. Actually, today is her birthday. But the party was on. Yeah, the party was on Saturday, and the food. Chef Dozier. Hey, give a shout out to Chef Dozier. Yeah, he that was the hired chef for the night. But yeah, it was a very, very nice evening.
Hang on a second. That night, now, if I'm not mistaken, I think I met him. Didn't he become an authorized chef for Super Bowl when he was here in Atlanta? Is that the same gentleman?
Possibly. Yeah, he's pretty popular. Yes, yes. He has his own. If you on Facebook, Chef Dozier, D-O-Z, apostrophe I-A. Yes, he's very popular. Food is amazing. Yeah, he does a lot of weddings and stuff. So some people actually thought we were getting set up for a wedding or a reception because it was so elegant. So elaborate. It's just my sister's 60th birthday, my oldest sister. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to speak to you again. Congratulations. 60 is a good place to be. I know all about it. So
okay, I'll let her know. It's a wonderful. I know she's out. I know when I saw a post earlier, she was out to dinner, so she's probably not watching the show. But I'll let her know that you shouted her out.
Right. Wonderful shout out. Appreciate her. It's always good to have your sister looking out for you. And again, we appreciate all those of you who listen. We appreciate you people on Periscope watching the replay. Appreciate all you people who shared it on the replay. Cammie, I know you had to go to bed already, but again, I'm giving you a big shout out as well. You know, Cammie from South Carolina is one of our big boosters on Periscope, so we appreciate her. Appreciate Sam Crenshaw, basically a sportscasting legend here in Atlanta. Vlogs onto the broadcast. Give big shout outs to Quincy and to William Andrews. So we thank God for him. And thank God to Mr. Football Bench and Turner. I couldn't get all your questions on Bench because I was trying to do some stuff here behind the scenes, getting William on, but we appreciate you and supporting our program every week. And like I said, for everybody that shares it on the different groups, on your personal pages, I see the shares always go up after the show. So I'm mad appreciative of you. And we just thank you so much that you allow us to entertain you just a little bit here in the Lockdown Living Room on the Real Talk Sports Show. Iris, again, we appreciate you and everybody else. Until the next time, God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful night. Good night.
Guys, too. Good.